Wow.
I believe. Oh,
You're exactly who I want to talk to. Would it be okay if I just had an on-camera conversation with you?
Yeah.
Would that be cool?
I mean, I'm kind of. I mean, I got robbed about.
What?
Yeah, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So I don't.
Yeah.
I don't look very.
That's okay. I'm gonna move over just a little bit to get more light, okay? But maybe if you could just stand here with the Alamo in the background, would be great. What is your name?
Shane.
Shane. I'm Anthony.
Nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you too. So, like I told you before, I'm trying to have conversations with people to see where they are on the God belief scale, and try to understand how they arrived at that position. So if 0% was, I don't believe in a God, and 100% is, I absolutely believe in a God, where would you say that you would put yourself on that scale?
100%. Like I was being funnier earlier, 137%. I believe in like nothing else. I mean, and it's because of through my experiences. Because I've been way at the bottom, just like I was telling you, I just got robbed 2 weeks ago, you know, and was put in the hospital, but now I'm good. And
is that why you have the bandage on your head?
Yeah, and why I have these black
eyes?
Yes,
I noticed that. I just noticed that now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Was that in Dallas that happened?
No, that was actually in here.
That was here?
Yeah.
Where?
I got like downtown area.
Okay.
Yeah. It was pretty in a rough neighborhood.
Are you hanging out in rough neighborhoods while you're passing through?
I think what happened with the cops said is I got lured in. I was at a bar. I met this girl, and I think she lured me into this situation.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. So.
Well, I'm sorry. Well, hopefully the rest of your stay here isn't quite that bad.
Oh yeah. No, I'm about to leave here in the next couple hours. So.
Now you said that you arrived at the God belief because of your personal experience. Is that the only reason why you're there, or are there other factors?
But other people's experiences, and also because.
You mean somebody told you something happened, and then that was enough to convince you?
Well, just seeing their situations, you know. I didn't see them, but yeah, I guess you could say they told me about it, and I was able to, you know, go out that. It's all about experiences, I think. My whole family, they're pretty religious, and they've been telling me I need to get into the Word, into the Bible, but I haven't been doing that, so I'm sure that's going to be another experience that I'll you know, so. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Let's just say hypothetically that everyone that you've run into that was trying to direct you towards a God belief were maybe Hindus, and they believed that Vishnu was the God. Do you think that those proddings, those conversations, those testimonials from those folks saying, hey, you know, it's Vishnu that's helping us out, Vishnu's changing me, Vishnu's working in my life, I have Vishnu in my heart. Do you think that you might be more leaning towards the Vishnu's God rather than maybe say
as of right now, or like if I grew up?
Yeah, let's say that you were just immersed in that culture.
Oh, well, I don't know. That's kind of hard to say, man. I've come to realize that, you know, that when you grow up, you know, that really does put a root in your life, in your mind, as far as what people tell you. So I really couldn't tell you. I don't know, but I know God is real, and I know that He would get me somehow, you know. And
so you're thinking maybe if it wasn't for friends and family telling you that these things were happening, that God would have somehow still found a way to reach you?
Exactly. Yeah. And he'll find any way to, you know, I might meet a beautiful woman that's godly, you know, and then I get that way, you know.
Okay.
He's gonna find a way to get me.
How affixed are you to that 100% mark? Like, so for example, let's say a gorgeous woman strolls by, she's Muslim, and you know, she's grateful that she meets you, and you know, you fall in love, and you know, do you think that you would abandon your beliefs in the God that you have, that you hold to now, and follow her God just strictly because of that interaction that you might have with that woman? That's
an interesting question, man, because I've had drug problems. I've had alcohol problems. I have every problem that you can think of, man, and I have gone astray to him, you know. But it's only been for a while, and then I come back, you know. And the more and more I come back, the more and more I get a stronger relationship with him, you know. I'm 37 years old, and I've been going back and forth, but now I'm really strong. I have a really good relationship with him. I know that there ain't nobody here that can tell me exactly my relationship with God except for me and him. And you know, they're like, well, you drinking beer and you're not supposed to be doing that. You know, well, yeah, I'm not supposed to be doing that, but that don't mean that I don't have a good relationship with God. You know what I'm saying? Me and him still talk, you know, and he tells me, you know, and so I don't know. I'm getting more and more, I guess, mature in the spirit as I get older.
Mature in spirit? What do you mean by that?
Able to just focus on him, care about, it's just about him. It ain't about anybody else. You know what I'm saying? And
yes.
As I was growing up, I would like try to impress the world, and at the same time impress him. Try to do, you can't do that. You got to choose, and so I choose him.
That's the way the Alamo should look. Yeah, not the way we came.
You know, that kind of puts a frown on the world. You know, like they kind of look at that like weird, but I don't care. You know, gotten to the point where this guy, our God has pulled me out of so much stuff, man. You know?
Let me ask you this though, but let's say that you were at some level you were mistaken on the God belief. How would you go about discovering that information?
Okay, explain that again.
Let's say that this belief in this God that you have, so much so that you're at 100%, you're compelled to, you know, have conversations with pretty much strangers about it, even though I approached you, but you know, you're at the 100% mark. But if you were mistaken on the belief, how would you go about uncovering that information?
Oh, okay. If someone like said, well, like I was saying before, hey, you couldn't be a believer since you drink beer in your lifetime. Is that what you're saying?
No. What I'm saying is, well, possibly, but I'll rephrase it.
Yeah.
Let me think here. Let's give 20 seconds to think about this. You're holding a position in your God belief. You're at the 100% mark.
Hello, Miss Coker.
There's always, I mean, we're both not. We're both capable of making mistakes, right? We're not infallible.
Right.
I think you would probably agree with that. Yeah,
right.
You're not infallible.
Right.
You are capable of making mistakes with other things in your life. But when it comes to the God belief, I want you to think about a possibility where if you were mistaken, and I'm not saying that you are mistaken on it, but if you were mistaken on being so committed at that 100% mark on your God belief, how would you figure it out that you were mistaken? How would you determine that? What tools would you use to help you discover that? Oh my gosh,
I'm not where
I've been following the wrong cat.
Oh yeah, that's, man, it's crazy that you say that, because I have that feeling all the time. I'm like, I walk around here with my head up when everything's going good, you know, and I'm like, you know, proud of myself and stuff, and then then God, he brings me down, and he says, hey, look, man, you're getting too proud, you know. So he humbles me. But as far as your question goes, how do I realize that?
How would you discover that you've been mistaken in your belief?
When he humbles me.
You're telling me that the God that you believe in would have to come to you to tell you
no, he'll
that you're mistaken in the belief in him?
No, he'll...
Let me give you another example.
Yeah.
I'm of the mindset that evolution is a fact. Okay? I accept it. Because that's what the evidence appears to show.
Right.
Now I'm open to being convinced that I might be mistaken. And something that I might give as an example, whereas if I saw a fossilized human skull bone buried in the Cretaceous layer, which is like 300 million years ago, if it wouldn't belong there. That's something that I would point to and say, you know what? If I saw that, that would cause me to revise my position on where I stand on the evolution acceptance. And I want to try to give you that example to maybe get you to think, what would you accept to get you to contemplate, to say, you know what? If I saw that, that's what I would accept to get me to revise my belief on the God.
Revise my belief in God? Oh, man. That's a pretty crazy question. I don't know, really, man. Because right now I can't imagine anything that would make me believe that this is a mistake. But just right now, in the past, you know, where I've cursed God, you know, I've been to the point where I've been homeless, on drugs, had nothing, no friends, family wasn't helping me, and I was like, man, you know what? You're not good. You know, you're not good like everybody says. You're a bad God, you know, and I started cursing him.
Yeah.
And
are you giving those examples to illustrate that if things continually got worse and worse for you, then that would be your human fossilized skull bone in the Cretaceous to get you to reconsider things?
Yeah, like,
okay.
Like, man, God wouldn't, you know, I'm wasting my time thinking about, I'm wasting my time with this whole God
but you would only do that, sir, if bad things were to happen to you.
Yeah.
Let's say from this point on, hypothetically, nothing but good things happen. You walk away, you find a lottery ticket. You meet that beautiful woman. She pulls up in a Ferrari and you guys fly to Hawaii and you get married. You know, you have 4 kids. They're just great kids. They invent stuff and one becomes president. You know, all good things happen to you from that point on. Can you agree that even though things might take a turn for the better for you for the rest of your life, that those events wouldn't really have any bearing whatsoever on the existence or the non-existence of that God?
Yeah, that's a good question too, because it would. Because not only is too much bad will make me change my mind like that, alter my mind like that, too much good too.
That's interesting, because
so,
if I have the bad stuff over here, which is proof of your God, and the good stuff over here, which is the proof of your God, do you see that you've constructed a scenario where regardless of what happens to you, it's going to reinforce your belief in the God?
Yeah. The thing about me is that...
Do you think that that's an intellectually honest way to go through life? And concluding that things are true because of that?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. That, I mean, you're going to have bad and you're going to have good. I mean, but there's only one God. I don't know. It's kind of getting deep here. So.
It just got deep in San Antonio.
Yeah, I'm like, man.
We could ratchet it back just a bit, because I know that was a pretty deep question.
Yeah, I'm like.
But I really want you to try to maybe think, you know, have I constructed a scenario that I'm reinforcing my belief in this God, whether good things happen to me or bad things happen to me, and even if nothing happens to me, I'm content to reinforce my belief that this God is real, regardless of what happens to me. So from this point on, man, regardless of what happens to you, it's going to just simply keep reinforcing your belief. So maybe as a takeaway, you can maybe reconsider or evaluate, is my personal experience, are the things that are happening to me personally a real reliable method for determining what I'm believing in is true or not? Would you think about that maybe for the rest of the day? Yeah,
and it's funny you bring this up, because the other day I'm just sitting there, drinking a beer, and yeah, again, I'm not supposed to be drinking a beer, but I was, and I was just sitting there, and you know, I'm all getting over this mentally and physically. And I'm like, man, I'm feeling bad.
It's quite a trauma.
Yeah,
emotionally and physically.
Yeah, and so. I'm feeling bad, and I'm feeling fearful. I'm feeling every negative feeling. You know what I'm saying? Angry, and all of a sudden, man, I look down, and the first time ever, I have it on video. The first time ever, I see a couple of ducks, like a family of ducks, going on this river walk type, and they're floating, and there's like, I don't know, there's a good 7 or 8 little ducks, man, all synchronized in a line, and I've never seen that before. It was cool, man. But that made me realize that God is, that what God is. You know what I'm saying? That God made something like that. God made something that beautiful and that cool. You know, and so it made me somehow switch my spiritual thinking. And it changed me like that. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go back to that time that you looked at that beautiful, you know, a line, a queue of ducks just, you know, peacefully swimming down, and, you know, hypothetically, let's say you know, a big old fish just came up and gobbled up 3 of those ducks right at the tail end of that line.
Yeah.
Do you think that you would have walked away from with a different feeling from that observation? Or would you be just as in awe of the beauty of it and the majesty? And
I'd be like, kind of, I don't know, awestruck, but no, it's anything, even sharks, even looking at predators, that makes me think, oh man, there is a God out there, you know? So, just like we were saying before, like that, like good and bad, you know what I'm saying?
I was just going to raise that point, is that, and I hate to get deep on you again here, but you've just given me another scenario where you can look at two completely opposite things happening and come to the same conclusion.
There you go. That's good. Two different equations, one good and one bad, but still you get one answer.
Now let's say I'm walking back to my car and you know, it pops in my mind that maybe the Hindu god Vishnu might actually be real. And it just as I'm saying that, you know, a mother cat with, you know, 3 other kittens walk by, and I'm just really struck by the beauty of it. And it's so gorgeous and beautiful that I decide that it's reinforcing my belief of the existence of that Hindu god. What would you say to if I were to report that story back to you, you know, and say, hey, you know, I had this experience. I'm now 100% convinced that, you know, the Vishnu god, you know, Hindu, the Vishnu god is actually real and works in my life. I've had these experiences. Would you think that I'm using a reliable methodology to determine what's true, or perhaps something that might be unreliable?
Unreliable? That's what I would think, because...
Why would you say that my method is unreliable, but you're unwilling to direct that same level of critique or maybe even skepticism towards your own?
Well, when it comes to like, if you came up to me and you said, man, I used to shoot heroin, you know, all the time, I love it, you know, I wouldn't judge you, you know, I wouldn't like, oh, he's a bad guy, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't do that. And or if you came up to me and said, oh, hey man, I'm a Washington Redskins fan, you know, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, I wouldn't judge you, you know, I wouldn't hate you or anything, but when it comes to religion, that's a totally different thing. When it comes to religion, I'm firm on what I believe, you know what I'm saying? And so,
but if religion is that much more important to you, you know, wouldn't you want to use a more reliable method for determining if that belief is actually true or not, rather than something as arbitrary as, you know, deciding whether or not I agree with somebody because they like the Dallas Mavericks, for example? You know what I mean? Like, it sounds like you're using that same methodology, which I'm not convinced that it's actually as reliable as maybe you think that it might be. You're perfectly content, it sounds like, to use that same epistemology, that same method for arriving at your belief for something that's so important, right? You know, you are hitching your wagon to a specific God, and I'm not quite convinced that the method that you're using is a reliable one. What would you say to that?
That might be my problem. I mean, that might be my problem while I'm going in and out, in and out, in and out.
How would you discover it though if you're unable to identify what you would accept to move you down the scale? Wouldn't you need to know what you would need to see in order to move down the scale? In order to correct the mistaken belief? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know exactly how to do that. But the thing when it comes to deep stuff like we're talking about and stuff I don't understand, the only thing I can do is pray about it, man, and you know, hope He guides me.
Would you think about it as well?
Yeah. I'll think about it. I'm about to go on like a 14-hour bus ride, so
Good.
be able to think a lot today.
I really appreciate that. And I do appreciate your time.
No problem.
I wish you the best of luck, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right, you take it
All
easy.
right. Okay.
Stay out of trouble.
All right, man.
I hope you don't get jumped again. That sucks.
I know, man. That's my second time in life.
What is it, man?
I don't know.
That's really a frightening story, I gotta say.
Yeah.
That's like my worst fear, you know, is getting jumped.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that I think the girl was the mastermind.
She was in on it. Yeah, like how many times does she do this stunt?
Yeah. How many times does she do this stuff?
Could you go back to the bar and say, hey, you know, if you ever see this girl again?
Yeah, we did.
You did that?
Yeah.
I wonder if this is a little thing that they do and they just go all over Texas and just do it. If they're smart, they wouldn't stay in the same town.
Right. I've heard of people doing that stuff.
Damn.
Yeah. And
what was the one line that she told you that convinced you to go with her? What was the deal breaker? Like, what was the one that you let your defenses down?
Man, you are so beautiful. I've not seen someone that's beautiful like as you. I don't know what she was saying, but she was buying me, man. I was like, never really heard a girl talk to me like that, and a good-looking girl at it. And I was like, whoa, okay, well.
I want to ask you one more question, and I do not mean this as an insult.
Yeah.
And maybe you can think about this when you're on your 14-hour bus ride home.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm going to ask you?
No.
Okay, you're smiling. Like,
no, but I'm pretty
you
sure.
don't even have to answer this question, unless you want to. I want you to maybe just think about it. Is it possible that the filter that you're using to make your judgments is flawed in some way?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Real flawed. Yeah, really flawed. Yeah, and you know, I mean, I'm talking to people, my family, my friends, and they're just telling me the same. They keep telling me the same thing, man. Look, your thinking is wrong. You know, you're putting yourself in situations where it's dangerous, and you're not thinking twice about it. You know, you're just going in. And that's the way I've always been. If I like some pleasure, I go and I don't even think twice about it. Just go and do it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think, oh man, something like this might happen.
You think you're impulsive?
Yeah. And you know, this is the second time I've gotten jumped in my lifetime. And almost first time they really did beating on me the first time, but
can you apply the same you know, feelings that you're going through right now with regards to being jumped like that? And this might be a stretch here, but you know, you made a decision to believe what that woman was telling you and actually follow her and put yourself in a situation where you actually got jumped. Could you apply maybe that same template and overlay it with your God belief and say, you know, am I just following things and not using the best judgment, or you know, am I putting myself in a situation where I can actually get hurt? Or am I using good, reasonable, critical thinking skills to arrive at what I'm willing to accept as true or not?
Yeah. I'm not gonna answer that one, but
Don't need to. All right, man.
I just am living minute to minute right now, and I'm loving life right now. Really, to tell you the truth. So.
Okay. I wish you the best of luck.
All right,
Safe
man.
travels, okay?
All right.
Take care.
All right.